Oh. Hi, guys. My name is not Wonder Woman, even though that's what I'm dressed up like. And this is not Superman.
My name is Chantel.
And my name is Stephanie, and we're the ladies of Alleman Law. And what are we going to chat about today? Something to do with protecting something?
We are. Today we're going to talk about trust protectors.
Yes. So, what is it? Why is it? When did it come about? What's it actually do? Let's chit chat about those things. But first of all, thank you so much for joining us on Wednesday, the 1st September Wednesday. We've made it, colder weather, super excited. But before we get started about anything else, and before we forget again, we are participating in the Walk to End Alzheimer's. The link for our pages, I think, is on our page, but I will definitely go back and check to make sure it is. But if you want to join the team, if you would like to walk, if you would like to donate, if you would like information, if you would like a dog bandana that says #EndAlls to celebrate and just honor everybody out there, then let us know. We will happily get you one. And just email us or call us if you have any questions, too. It's a great foundation. We want to be a part of it. We're super excited about walking.
Yeah, and we'd love to get as many people involved as we can.
Yeah, spread the word, too, guys. All right, so are we ready to get started?
I think we are.
Okay, so what's the point of this? The protectors of the universe, probably.
Yeah, so trust protectors are a great thing to include in your trust document. So if you have a trust, go check it out after this video and look to see if you see something in there called a trust protector or a trust advisor. And you'll learn why that's so important by the end of this video. But before we get to that, we'll kind of break it down and start at the basics. So we've talked about trust before, but in this we'll start with what is a trustee. So a trustee is like a manager of the trust. So if you get a normal revocable living trust, you'll be the trustee, the manager of the trust to start with, most likely. That's usually what everybody does.
Yeah.
It's just them. And so you will manage your assets like you've already been managing them. But what a trust protector is so important for is after something happens to you, and then the next person in line, that next trustee, steps in and is acting. So what is a trust protector?
So think of it, you have a ton of powers as a trustee. And it's very, very similar in what you can do for the trust advisor, trust protector. We wanted to make the protector joke with the superhero outfits, but that's what they're kind of there for, is to be another type of overseer of everything with respect to the trust. Look over beneficiary designations, make sure that everything is going swimmingly with the trust. But the trust protector is going to be a person. That's part number one. It's going to be an individual who is going to come in and be a referee, is one way to think about it. But they have very similar powers to the trustee, and they can actually kind of overpower the trustee in most situations. And so there's somebody who comes in, and they can be used for a ton of different reasons, which we'll get into near the end of today's Wine Wednesday. But the trust protector is a person who comes in to help oversee and make sure that things are going according to the person who created the trust and their intent. So you created a trust, say, if you have one in your, estate planning toolbox, you have a trust, you set it up how you want it to go, and you want it to always do what you wanted it to do. Now, what happens if anything changes, a big thing? So somebody passes away, there are changes in the law. What happens? What if your intent cannot be followed through anymore? The trust protector can come in and say, well, hello there. I have this power, so I can make this change. I can make sure that your intent is always seen through, when maybe the trustee might not have such a power.
And so the most important thing to keep in mind about this, because a lot of times people, in the trust that we draft, they'll see this provision and they're like, pump the brakes. This trust protector that you have in here can do a lot of stuff to my trust. Why in the world would I ever sign up for that? And what we tell people is that, so the way that we draft it is that the trust protector can't come into play unless there's a problem. Someone comes to that person and says, all right, it's your time to shine. Mom or dad, they're gone and something is wrong and we need you to step in and fix a problem.
And that's where irrevocable. So to make it as simple as possible, she's married. Her stuff is so complex. Not really. I'm single. So don't tell Luke. But I'm a single individual. I have a trust by myself. And I have assets that are titled in the name of my trust, which is your contract. It's on a bunch of pieces of paper that says where I would want my stuff to go if I'm incapacitated. Take care of me, please. If I pass away, I want my stuff to go to these people. Things like that. And so the trust protector would come in if I appointed someone, if I passed away. When I pass away in this case, my trust would become irrevocable. And for the most part, how we draft our trust, the trust advisor provision is not going to come into play unless and until the trust becomes irrevocable, because that's when your issues can really start coming around. People start fighting. Things change the longer the trust is around in doing things, and maybe something needs to be changed. And that's where I could appoint someone. Or I could leave it open-ended, which is what a lot of people do for the most part. They say, you know what, I totally get the benefit of it, but I don't have anyone in mind right now. So what happens is they typically will appoint the law firm. The majority members of the law firm is how you typically see it phrased. Then you see, they might appoint a family friend to appoint someone, something like that. But only if it's needed could this person or this law firm appoint somebody to be the trust advisor.
And the alternative is if you don't have this provision in your trust and something goes wrong, then your family could end up in court having to, ask the judge to change something in the trust because some issue arose that wasn't planned for in the trust. So the estate planning tool that you put in place to help your family stay out of court could be putting your family in court because there wasn't, planning in the trust.
Yeah, so think about it how I have a trust and I name one person to be the backup trustee if something happens to me. But I got my estate planning done, I got my trust all in place, signed properly, and I never look at that trust again. And by the time I pass away, the person who I listed as my backup trustee has already passed away as well. And I don't have anyone listed. In that case, if you don't have anyone and you don't have a trust advisor in place who can bend these rules the legal way and get things done, you will go to court for a trust reformation. It's doable. It's not the most difficult thing in the world, but it takes time. It takes a bit of money, and you got to go to court. And quite personally, the court is a kind of gross place with COVID right now. Just people everywhere. But after COVID, before COVID, it takes a while to get into court. You got to get your hearings set. You got to get in there and get all this lovely paperwork drafted, most likely by an attorney. So you have to get an attorney involved when you might not have wanted to in the first place. So that's one example. You could also appoint a trust advisor for the fighting siblings or the fighting step siblings. That's always the most fun situation in our lives. So what happens is you might have a trustee who is doing their job, hopefully, and say they have some siblings, some step siblings, will make it as easy as possible. And guess what? Shockingly, they don't get along. And even though they're doing everything perfectly as the trust instructed them to do, They're doing a beautiful accounting job. They're making sure all of the assets are listed. You know, if they need to sell property, they're doing their job. But guess what? Step sibling is just certain that they are doing something bad. They're stealing money. They're definitely trying to get shady characters involved and taking advantage of everybody. It's always the case.
Money brings out the best in people.
It does. And so what they do is they say, hey, we want a middleman, which is what we tell people all the time, is to use your attorney as a shield to block you. I would have been great if I had a Wonder Woman or you had a Superman shield. So sad. Missed opportunity. But use your attorney as a shield to say, I don't need to talk to you because I've lawyered up and I have an attorney. So don't talk to me because I'm sick of you belittling me and being rude. Go talk to my attorney and we'll take the abuse. We do it all the time. We're fine with it. But this is an ability to kind of have a divider to say, let's get this referee, this overviewer, to come in and make reports, who's an independent person, who's kind of a third-party outsider to the family, so there's no, wrongdoing associated and connections, and have them give the report to everybody. That's a big one. They can approve the accounting and tell everybody and report back and be like, yeah, they're doing their job, so let's all take a chill pill, and let's not talk to each other, because just the mere fact that people have to talk to each other brings out some anger, and understandably sometimes. But it just is a good opportunity to have a middleman.
Absolutely. And, having a trust protector or trust advisor provisioning your trust, it doesn't guarantee that your family is going to avoid court or that all problems will be solved by this, but it gives your family a better chance of staying out of court, of having someone there that can be on the ground floor solving problems versus having to worry about going to court unless things just happen that make you have to.
Yeah, so one thing to keep in mind is that this hasn't been around for that long of a time compared to when trusts were created a long, long time ago. So your trust advisor, trust protector provisions kind of have only been around for a decade. So if it's 2020 now, if you got your trust done before 2010, it's something to take a look at. Go open your binder, go check out your trust. If you haven't looked at it since before 2010, do it anyway, regardless of if you look for a trust advisor provision.
Yeah, our fun estate planning tip for this Wednesday is please review your trust at least and all of your estate planning documents every 3 to 5 years, or if you have some big life event that happens, that's a good time to just pull them out and see what they say.
And it's a good reminder that even though, yes, you got a plan that did great things in 1995, doesn't necessarily mean that it does great things in 2020. It might still accomplish some of the things you want, but chances are you might have grandkids at this point. I have great grandkids, who knows? And so you want to check it just to make sure that it does what you want it to do, your estate plan, and that it's updated with the new laws that are out there. And this is one of those things that is a fantastic tool to have in your estate planning toolbox because of all the great that it can do and bring for the family to help make sure that your estate plan does what you want it to do in a legal way. And this is one of those things that's pretty darn new and pretty darn excited about it because it's so helpful.
Absolutely. So if we don't have any questions right now, I think we're through with today. But as always, if you have questions that come up, if you're watching this video later, or you just don't want to type in a question on the comment section, always feel free to reach out and ask questions or comment on the video later. We're happy to respond.
Yeah, but enjoy that rain out there, everybody, and a happy Wednesday. And goodbye from the Alleman Law Firm Elder Law Ladies.